You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
This is Rod Mahood, your in-game voice of the Niagara IceDogs, and you're listening to the Dog Pound Podcast on the Armchair GM Sports Network, your podcast source for all game analysis, team interviews, and up-to-date news regarding the Niagara IceDogs.
How's it going, IceDog fans, and welcome back to another installment of the Dog Pound Podcast right here on the Armchair GMs Sports Network, your source for North American sports coverage by sports fans for sports fans, delivered to you right here in the Niagara region. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at Dog Pound Podcast, like the network on Facebook at facebook.com/Armchair GMs Network. Follow us on Instagram by searching Armchair GM Sports Network. Listen to us on all our main platforms like Spreaker, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, wherever you're getting your podcast. Make sure you are searching the Armchair GMs Sports Network, and you'll find us on there. Lastly, check out our website at armchairgmsports.com. That's how you say it. For all things regarding our network, articles, podcasts, episodes, sponsors, contributors, everything is on there for you guys. So check us out wherever is easier and convenient for you to listen and check us out on. I am your host of the Dog Pound Podcast today, and I'll be doing it solo here for a special IceDog player interview. So Brandon has some scheduling conflicts, but that's okay. I got you, Brandon. I can cover you, and we'll be interviewing IceDog centerman Jake Uberti. So I had the pleasure of interviewing him on this episode, so I'm excited to talk to him, excited to talk about what's been going on with him in the offseason, and, just some other stuff about him, keeping it fresh, keeping it real with Jakey. So you guys are going to want to listen in on this podcast. It was really fun to do. We got a nickname for the Bert. I guess I can just reveal now, the Big Bert, as you'll hear. He really loves that, so you guys will enjoy that. So we're going to nothing else to say here, but get right into it. God, it's hard to do it without Brandon. Brandon, man, you got to come back and do this with me. Anyways, guys, here is the interview that I did with Jake Uberti of the Niagara IceDogs. I hope you enjoy it. And after it is done, make sure, guys, you are following us, again, like I said, on our social medias of the Armchair GM Sports Network and the Dog Pound Podcast. Hope you guys enjoy it. We will see you guys next time right back here on the next episode of the Dog Pound Podcast. So hope you guys enjoy it. Take it easy. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another special edition of the Dog Pound Podcast right here on the Armchair GMs Sports Network. On today's episode, we are pleased to be joined by IceDogs centerman Jake Uberti. Jake, Kyle here with you. Great to talk to you, which it's kind of felt like forever since the last time we saw you on the ice, kid.
Yeah, what's up, Kyle? Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been too long.
A long while, but we're coming along here, yeah.
Yeah, so first off, my co-host Brandon could not be here with us today to do the interview, but he does send his best wishes to yourself due to his scheduling conflicts. But he wanted to know, his first question right off the bat is, what are we supposed to call you? So he came up with a few nicknames I want you to elaborate on. You tell me what you think. So he thinks he can either call you Big Bert, Ooby Dooby Doo, Uncle Ube, Crank That Soldier Boy, Ooh, or the U, like his Miami Hurricanes football team.
No, I really like the Big Bert, so if you could start referring to me as that, that'd be awesome.
Big Bert, awesome. Yeah, we're going to stick with
yeah,
that.
Big Bert.
So I'll let him know for you. I'm sure he's going to listen back and hear that. My first question is, I want to get, and I read this article a few months ago, and this was really cool. So the IceDogs had someone do a story about your jersey numbers, and we read last year.
Okay.
You're on the website that you were picked number 73, and it had something to do with your date of birth. Can you elaborate that a little bit? Is that a specific number that relates to your date of birth, or is there another meaning behind it?
No, it's related to my date of birth. I actually remember the day really well. It was the first year we could actually pick our numbers, and I was kind of going through the hockey thing with my older brother too. So we kind of wanted to think of something that was meaningful to us that would stick with us.
Okay.
So we chose to both go with our birthdays, and my birthday is March 7th, so 0307. And at the time, I was really young, and I wanted like a high number because I thought that'd be pretty cool. So I kind of just swapped the numbers around and went from 37 to 73.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
my older brother actually did something with his birthday, and he ended up with 83.
Oh.
So then my two younger brothers just went with 63 and 53. So it's all kind of worked out pretty well there.
Okay, so that number 3 is like synonymous with your family there. Okay, I get that. Because 73 is not really a number you see often used. So, is it a number you probably for sure, if you were allowed to stick with?
Yeah, definitely. I'd stick to 73. It's my number.
That's awesome. I love that. So, we hear so many great hockey stories about players like destroying appliances when they're growing up, whether it be basement doors or garage doors. Growing up, practicing in and around their house. Do you have any like great Canadian hockey stories? Something on your parents that you destroyed, or your parents' property that you destroyed, or maybe damaged with hockey pucks at all?
I got quite a few of those. My parents haven't been too happy with me over the years, me destroying stuff. So, like at our old place, we had like a finished basement. And at the time, I was really young, and I just started shooting pucks in the basement, so I was like 6 or 7. And we had the hockey net, and behind the net was drywall. And I really got into hockey, so I was shooting every day. And by a month or so, the drywall was completely destroyed. The basement was a disaster.
Just ripped apart.
Yeah, my parents were all pissed off. They're like, You're being destructive, breaking the drywall, and I'm trying to explain to them, no, I'm just missing the net. I'm not all that good yet.
I promise I'll shoot better soon.
Yeah. So then they moved me outside, right? And so I set up the pucks and the net on the driveway, and we have our car behind it, and I'm not thinking anything of it at the time. I'm thinking, I'm just going to go outside and shoot some pucks and have a good time. And I missed the net high, and it hits the window to our truck and completely shatters it.
Oh.
And yeah, and then I'm all upset and my parents are all upset. So then they're like, they move the net over a little bit so it's not in front of anyone's car. Ours are our neighbors. And a couple weeks later, I miss the net again, and I take out the neighbor's car's window. Yeah, so it like a span of a couple months, I just ruined a bunch of things. So then my parents decided it was a good idea to set up the basement so we could shoot in it. So they boarded up all the walls and stuff, and that's what we got right now.
Gotcha. I mean, I'm glad that it's kind of eventually led to you playing in the OHL. So at least some good's come out of it so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So as you are growing up, do you remember any like moment where? Any specific moment where you fell in love with hockey specifically? Was it always your number one choice in sport? Or maybe there was another sport you really kind of enjoyed and thought of maybe pursuing other than hockey?
No. I remember watching the World Juniors one year, and it ended up going to overtime or something, and it got really late, so we had to go to bed, and then I got up at like 5:30 to watch TSN the next morning to figure out like who won, and I guess that's a moment where I really fell in love with hockey, because then I watched TSN and they do like hour segments and they replay it, and I end up watching the same segment like 5 times in a row, and I was just glued to the TV. So I'd say that was the moment where I realized I wanted to do something with hockey.
That's awesome. Please tell me Jay and Dan were on too at that point.
They were.
Okay.
Those guys were awesome.
Yeah, they're always everyone's favorite watching, and I even remember growing up like they were always hilarious watching those two together. So you were born in Toronto, the 6th. Does that mean you are a fan of the beloved Toronto Maple Leafs growing up, or did you go against the grain and choose another favorite team maybe outside of your home area? And Brandon does hope you did pick the right thing here because he is a big Buffalo Sabres fan.
No, growing up, my dad, he was never a huge fan of hockey, but like when the Leafs were on, he'd always have on Hockey Night in Canada. So I kind of grew up just always watching the Leafs, and then now I'm kind of a Leafs fan, and they're exciting to watch. So I'm definitely a Leafs fan.
That's it. That's that a boy. You picked the right team. I
Yeah.
know Brandon's not going to be too happy, but he's a grumpy Sabres fan, so we can let him be.
No, the Sabres are no good anyway. He should be good.
Love it. Might have been asked this too many times before, but is there a specific or a certain hockey player that you look up to growing up and that you kind of wanted to mold your game after, and then maybe have any interesting hockey jerseys that aren't your own?
Interestingly enough, I don't have any hockey jerseys that aren't my own, but over the years I've come to enjoy watching different players. Right now I'm huge on Eichel. I really like the way he plays and the way he skates and stuff, but over time it was Ovechkin, Crosby, all the big superstars when I was growing up, and now I'm kind of really interested in the way Eichel plays.
Right, gotcha. Yeah, he's definitely a solid center. So that's a huge one to pick if you're gonna try to mold your game after him. I like that. During your time in quarantine, without getting yourself flack from your teammates, obviously, other than the ones you're training on the ice with, is there a favorite pastime you've been doing during the last 8 months? Maybe a little Fortnite, maybe a little other kind of entertainment.
I've actually been enjoying stretching. I'll go in the basement and throw on some golf videos or whatever I fancy that day, and I'll just stretch in front of the TV for a couple hours, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I like that. I've actually been doing yoga myself at home since I've been trying to stay away from the gyms currently right now with the times that are going on. So I've been doing a lot of at home, some intense yoga. It's actually been great. I never really looked at getting into yoga up until the pandemic. So I feel there on the stretching. It's definitely awesome to do.
Yeah, no, it's really nice. I really enjoy it.
So Jake, we'll get into more about your past season with the IceDogs in a bit here. But first, we're going to take our first commercial break right here in the Armchair GM Sports Network, guys. Don't go away. We got more of the interview with IceDogs centerman Jake Uberti. Don't go anywhere.
Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano, serving traditional-style Italian pizzas made with the freshest, top-quality ingredients. Loaded subs and their famous chicken wings. Winners of the Reader's Choice Diamond Award 4 years running from Niagara this week for Best Pizza and Wings in Niagara Falls. Home of the best tray and wing combo in town for the price and quality. Open daily from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Located on the corner of Drummond Road and Dunn Street. Available for call-ahead pickup or delivery at 905-374-4400. Make sure to like them on Facebook and view their website for their menu at carmine'spizzeria.ca. Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano, way too good. As we all adjust to this new world that we're living in today, masks are now mandatory, and Niagara's own Custom PPE is Canada's leading face mask provider. Visit them online at customppe.ca and choose between several mask options with different colors and sizes. Add your organization, company, or team logo so you make your face masks unique. Available to purchase online 24/7 at customppe.ca and shipped within 1 week. They have the best prices and quickest turnaround in Canada, and no order is too big or too small. Also offering custom floor stickers as well as face and counter shields for your business or workplace. Visit customppe.ca and use the code ARMCHAIR at checkout for 20% off your custom or blank face mask today. Custom PPE, Canada's leading face mask provider. Attention job seekers, if you are currently looking for work in the Niagara region, you owe it to yourself to check out the services provided by the Niagara Employment Help Center, located at 6100 Thoroldstone Road, Niagara Falls, directly across from the Camisos Plaza. Their free services include resume and cover letter writing, community resource and referral information, local labor market information, job search strategies, assistance with clarifying employment training and career goals, employment counseling and job search support, second career information and registration assistance, and all their services are currently provided by appointment only. So give them a call at 905-358-0021 or visit their website at ehc.on.ca, the Niagara Employment Help Center. This Employment Ontario program is funded by the Government of Ontario.
So we'll talk about a little bit about last year's season. Definitely was a learning curve for you guys after trading away such core pieces like Akil Thomas, Tomasino, Sopa, as well as losing at the end of the year Ladia and Castleman, who have finished now their OHL careers with you guys. How was the whole experience for that second half of the season after the trade deadline? Because you obviously were asked and relied upon to take bigger roles as a team after all the big players were gone. Did you welcome that challenge to elevate your game to the next level?
Yeah, I definitely welcomed it. I saw my rookie year, our team was really good, and there were a lot of players to learn from. So my biggest thing personally when those guys got moved out was to kind of take everything that I learned over the past year and a half that I was in the league and try to apply it to my game and taking a bigger role. And there's definitely a bit of a learning curve for me, but I think towards the end of it, I started to get the hang of it, and I'm really excited for next season.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that just from watching the press box. You guys did a fantastic job in that second half of the season, even missing some of the core players. You guys did carry the team on your back well, so I definitely applaud you there.
Yeah, thank you.
Obviously, with the draft that just happened, you guys added some really exciting young talent to your organization, including Pano Fimis, Daniil Gushin, Alec Leonard, Bryce Cook, just to name a few of them. Have you had a chance to reach out to any of these guys and welcome them to the team?
Yeah, I have. I reached out to all of them and said hi and just let them know if they need anything, that I'm always here and I'm happy to help them out. And I've actually skated with all of them too, and I'm really excited to see what they can bring to the table next year. They're definitely got some promising futures ahead of them.
Yeah, look at that. Big Bert looking out for the team. I love that. So speaking of that draft, I mean, you were drafted in the 4th round, 72nd overall, back in 2018 of the OHL draft. Do you remember what that day was like? And was there something that stuck out from that day that you'll never forget?
I don't think the draft was something I'll never forget because the lessons it taught me. Like, it wasn't a great day for me. I wasn't necessarily happy when I went. I was extremely happy where I went, but it taught me a lot of things that I began to use to prepare myself to play in the league, which I was happy about.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Did you get any like little bit of excitement jitters when you first got to the Meridian Center and kind of got that like first tour of the dressing room and the ice?
Yeah, it kind of all hit me there that like this isn't minor hockey anymore. This is a lot bigger than that, and this is where I'm gonna get the chance to continue my dream and to hopefully play in the NHL. Like, this was a stepping stone for that. It's all coming together. So it definitely hit me right when we got to the rink for that first tour.
Yeah, you definitely chose a great town as well. Like Niagara, I still condone this as probably one of the best fans in the OHL. Not even just speaking from a fan myself, but like we definitely have like the best game day and the best fans out of any OHL team. So I can definitely feel on that one as well. And it definitely was a different experience for the new draftees this year because it was a little bit different due to the circumstances of the pandemic. They had to get drafted in a different way and kind of experience it a different way too. So it's crazy to think that, you got that opportunity and that luxury at that time to do that. So, ever since then, we've loved to see on the ice, Big Bert. So we'll continue on here. So, when you were coming into the league for your first year, was there a certain player or players that really kind of helped you along with your transition into the OHL to make it like a successful one? Was there anyone there to help you along the way?
I think everyone on the team definitely played a part in helping me develop, but the 01s on the team at that time, Billy Constantino, Ian Martin, Tomasino, and Howie, they definitely played a big role in making me feel comfortable and making me feel like a part of the team because we were always hanging around them, and we had a pretty old team at the time, so those were like all the guys we hung out with the majority of the time. But the old guys did a great job of that too, like Akil Thomas, Ben Jones, Johnny Schaefer. Schaefer was huge that year for me. He was a great guy. He kind of took me under his wing. So yeah, there were just a bunch of guys that year who helped me out.
That's awesome. So obviously with this coming season, with everything kind of almost up in the air, with confirmation dates set in stone, what are your thoughts on this whole season being delayed right now? Supposed to start in September, October, then it got postponed till December, then it got postponed again till February of next year, with some set dates now for how the season is going to look with the playoffs and Memorial Cup. What was going through your head as all this was going down?
Well, as much as it sucked, and just because everyone loves playing hockey, right? So it sucks to have that pushed further and further away from you each time. But as difficult as it is, like I try to see it as an opportunity. Like this would be like our third off season now, so there's been a ton of time to improve my game and get better, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to go into camp a completely new player, way better than I was last year. So I'm just trying to make the most of the time I have now, because I know I'll never get a time like this to improve for this long again in my life, hopefully.
Yeah, and then in talking about all this, you know what? We got to talk about the big elephant in the room. If we do get a season in February, how does the idea of no body contact sound to you? Does it concern you at all how the game might be played or officiated differently? Just your general thoughts on how you think how you think that this may change your game personally.
To be honest with you, it would suck if there was no contact, but I'm just trying not to worry about it because it's completely out of my control if there's contact or not. So if there's contact, I'm extremely happy. If there's no contact, all the guys will have to learn to deal with it. So those are my thoughts on it right now.
Yeah, that's it. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens, but I'm glad you're taking that approach to it. That is the Big Bert way, if everyone wants to know how he's going to be taking this. So awesome. Well, thanks so much, Jake, for taking your time to come on and talk with me today. I hope you are able to give our listeners and Ice Dog fans a little bit more of an insight to another one of our beloved Ice Dog players, and now with the cool new nickname of Big Bert. So some really interesting stuff that you gave us regarding your career and a little bit of your life off the ice as well. Really looking forward to big things from you without trying to put any pressure on you in the upcoming season whenever that starts. And to give you in this group to try to take the next step forward. So I hope to see you and the guys down at the Meridian Center sometime in February. So thank you so much, Big Bert.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me on. I had a blast.
Awesome. We'll take it easy.
Yeah, you too.